After purchasing a shower system from Kitchen and Bath Authority, I had to wait 4 months just to be told, after numerous conversations with them, trying to get the actual product, that they weren't going to supply the product unless I wanted to wait even more time. They were going to give me a different product, which would cost me to buy more pieces, and I just had to deal with that and live with it. Ultimately, I had to acquiesce to that and purchase more pieces for my shower system. And in the future, I will definitely be looking for other places to go instead of Kitchen Bath Authority. On August 6th, I made a purchase from them. It was about $1,100 for a shower system. I was told that one single part of the shower system, the wall bar that the hand shower was attached to, would arrive a week late. When I got the system, I was missing, I believe, 4 major parts, including the trim, the hand shower, the wall bar, and one of the connectors. And I called up the company, and they told me that there was a little bit of a delay and that I would get it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, I received no notification and I received no call from them. I gave it a few more days. I called them back and I asked them what the situation was, and they said there's been a continued delay. It'll be another 2 weeks. So now we're at about a month. Maybe told me a week at that point. But either way, it was adding on time. I waited for that time to pass. I got no reply from the company, heard nothing from them. I gave them a little bit extra time. Then I called them back and they said, actually, it's going to be about another month. And I said, I was very frustrated. I told them the situation, that like right now I have a bedroom or 2 apartment conversion property that I'm intending to live in, one of the units. And because of the fact that I cannot close up the walls, I cannot get certified so that I can live in the property, I can move into the property. So, I'm currently just waiting for the project to finish because of this. And it's holding me up. And I asked if I could speak to a manager, and they told me at that point that the manager is just going to tell you exactly what I'm telling you. And they refused to give me the phone number or the contact information for a manager. And that was into that. So I waited until the next date, which they told me, which at that point was, I believe, at the end of September. And again, I called, I asked for a manager. They refused it. They were really snarky on the phone with me, just told me there's nothing new that the manager would tell me, and that I just have to wait. And they gave me the date of October 30th or 31st for me to be able to get my the remaining parts. I waited till October 31st, so now we're at almost a full 3 months, I guess, yeah, August, September, and October afterward. And I called them. I gave them even a little bit more time after that, and they told me again that I could not speak to the manager. They told me again that they don't have it and that they will deliver it to me possibly in mid-December now. So in the meantime, I've literally, just because of this one shower, had to move into a temporary apartment, and then I have to keep that going. And this is like, I work in New York City and I live in New York, and so it's really expensive. And I explained to them I was spending an incredible amount of money on this apartment, waiting to be able to move into the property so I can get it certified. They didn't seem to care. I finally got fed up with it again, and I called the sales team. I pleaded with the sales team to connect me with the manager. The manager from the sales side got on the phone, and the only thing he was willing to do for me was to sell me a more expensive piece of the system. Provide me with a more expensive piece of the system that would require me to buy extra pieces. And he gave me no other options. He just left it at that. And so, obviously we're very frustrated. I would have ripped everything out of the wall and, saved a lot of money had I known this was going to last almost 4 months. But they, they kept on lying to me or kept on, not giving me all the facts or letting me speak to anyone and not trying at all to make the client happy. And so I ended up having to say yes to that. And I ended up having to get this extra piece, which is the trim kit that was meant for 3 options instead of 2. And I have to go buy additional pieces, and I'll have to select from another company because obviously I wouldn't give them any more business. But throughout the way, they just kept on blaming the supplier, and my line to them was, if you're the middleman, your service to me is that you assist in these type of situations, and you're able to, and I explained this all to them, and it said that you're able to, work with the consumer and work with your suppliers to make the consumer happy because it's in your interest. And I was like, this is ridiculous. But they were very adamant that there was very little they were going to do for me, and they just seemingly didn't care.
Okay, Michael, why have you chosen this company in the first place?
They had okay reviews, and I thought they had a brick and mortar store in New York, which made me feel better about it. I come to find out they don't have a brick and mortar store, that they are all online. So it was my bad in terms of assuming their address was actually a location, was actually a retail location. That was predominantly why I chose them, was because I thought they had a store nearby, and the initial reviews that I read of them were somewhat positive. And they had the product that I was looking for, which was not common.
Is there any solution that the company can do for you so you would feel better and will get back to them again in the future?
I think the way that this has come to resolution, that I had to go through so many people just to speak to a manager, I would be very skeptical to ever go back to them. I think clearly there's no one in leadership who realizes that having a bad name attached to your company, or having these reviews go out, or I'm in the architecture industry, so just having people in that industry being able to say oh, this is not a good place to go, seeing the monetary loss in that, their inability to see the value of that kind of a loss, or the negative value, would make me really skeptical to ever go back to them. So I think even with an apology, I would not consider wanting to deal with them ever again.
If you were in the company kitchen and bath authority, what would you do better in the service?
I think when I saw that the supply was going to be so far out, pushed out into the future, I would have immediately reached out to them. I was told, actually, there's a few things that I was told crazy. One was that I couldn't return what they had given to me because I was beyond 30 days, even though they had half of the product for 30 days in their space. And I think that's where I would start to make exceptions to these rules. I would say hey, you can take it off the wall, you can return it. We can we can do right by you as a consumer in that regard. Or hey, you can even just don't worry about what's ever in the wall. We're going to send you a new everything and from a different supplier that would that your contractor could use, and I could be made whole, and they would not have angry consumers running around like this. That's absolutely what I would do.